pretty strong.
She has I can't say. Anyways,
Don't be scared.
She has potential.
she has potential, but the thing, like, the reason why, like, she's not top or she's not very bottom is because, like, yeah, she has everything that, like, required, but then she doesn't have as much experience as, like, the rest of them, except for, what's his face, Bill Chambers.
Or Lin Chung, dude. Whoever Lin Chung is doesn't have a lot of, like, is lacking in information. Like, from what you can tell, Lin Chung has great references, but then doesn't tell you about what their education or what their experience is.
Alright, we're talking about Tonya Ruiz, you guys. So stick to Tonya.
She doesn't stand out. She's just in the middle.
Anyone else?
I
Tonya?
think she expects her job, like she's expecting her job to like help her husband. I think that's why she's just trying to get it to like, oh, like they hire me, they're gonna help my husband, and they hire me.
It's not her job's position to find her husband a job. It's like not their
It's
place.
her husband's job to find a job.
Nah, that's just a job.
Alright. You got anyone else?
Oh yeah, I agree. Like, she does have a mastery in like public relations, but like, she has no experience, so that kind of just puts her like in the middle or lower.
Alright, what do you think?
Well, I rated her number one just because I feel like she had a balance. Like everything was balanced, and I thought that she would do good because, or do well because her husband was supporting her in her decision.
Alright, awesome.
I put him last.
I put it last.
He has no experience and he's asking for too much.
And also, like, you can't, even though it says, like, oh, everything he touches turns to gold, like, it says right here, it doesn't have solid credentials.
So like he's demanding a lot because I guess because he has like a big ego. But like I guess we compare her to like Jane. They're like the same, but she actually has credentials. Whereas he does.
Well, I don't know. I thought that since he has a personality that he could work well with the people he works with, and like that he'd get the company somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I chose her for number two just because a great personality and would be good in the workforce with like other people.
Yeah, I put him last because I feel like out of the people working with him, I think the people working below him with the more experience deserve more pay than he does when he has no experience.
I put her first because she has a lot of experience and she's not asking for a lot and she would bring a lot to the company.
Anyone else?
I agree. I mean, like it says here that she's very hard to work with, but then, like, what company doesn't have a person that's really hard to work with? Like, it's normal. So.
Yeah, I think that the fact that she's hard to work with is like covered by the fact that she could bring the company from like regional to national, as it says. You know, she's really good.
I feel that since she's hard to work with, that it would be harder for the company because then, like, come back to me.
Yeah, the main reason I didn't choose her as one of my top three was because she's hard to work with, and I feel like you need to be good with other people to have that public relations job or duty.
I marked her as number three because like it's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing because like sometimes like it's good to have someone who's like hard to work with because they actually like do their job. But then on the other hand, the people she works with just don't like working with her too. So like it's kind of like they balance out for her qualities.
She's got a lot of prestige, and that's definitely a plus for her. But like teamwork is really key, especially for a director, for someone who's in charge of other people. So I kind of put her in the middle somewhere. So like she would do well for the company would do good for her. But then you've also got to take into account how well other people's performance will.
I mean, he must be kind of good if the founder of the company recommends him, but I mean, I can see why he would because he's tied to the founder. So I don't know. I wouldn't pick him.
Yeah, there's like, doesn't really have any background, he doesn't show any, like, there's the only background that we know is that he was a sales manager, and he lost it because of a corporate merger, so we have no idea who he is.
Yeah, like all his information, like it provides kind of like ambiguous to me because like it doesn't say anything about his like qualifications. So I kind of put him in the lower.
I put Kristen high because it was recommended, but I mean, even though that they're like related, so like tied, it doesn't really necessarily mean that they're a bad worker. It just means that he's having recommendations than other people. And the fact that his previous job, he was a sales manager, like shows that he has potential leadership.
Let's see. I chose him as number 3 because I feel like, yeah, the founder did recommend him, but also that he wouldn't be the top choice because of his his wife has fatal cancer. I feel like his family problems would get in the way of his job, or the expectations of his job.
Well, I put him as like number 1 for me because like even though like he lost his job like in his previous one, like he's still capable of like being a leader and all that stuff, and maybe the founder like just wants him in the business just in case something does happen like in the family, and he just wants to have him around because he's not in there anymore, and his daughter, they don't know if she's going to be around anymore, so yeah, just puts him in there.
I'm pretty much on the fence about Lin Chung. He's got good references, right? You know, from the founder and from his manager's background, but this does not provide enough information for me to make to hire this person because it's got a lot of personal info. It's great, but it's got nothing to do with his professional life.
He has a lot of experience with the company, but I just don't think that someone making sexual advances is a good reputation for the company.
I agree on that. Like, yeah, I mean, for a workplace to be comfortable, you need to be really comfortable with your company. So if like he's making inappropriate sexual advances, it's not good for the company. And also, like, even though he's been working there for how long, you don't know if he's going to be a good PR. He just knows the company, but you're not sure about his PR background. You know.
I put him third because of his tenure with the company, making him a good candidate, but the fact that he's just hitting on his own colleagues is like could be troublesome for the company in the future. So yeah.
I put him last because he has everything qualified and he'd be like a great person in that position, but the fact that his background didn't come out to be professional made it everything else like lower down.
Yeah, I basically second that.
Yeah, like because like the way he like hits on girls and all that stuff, like him being director, like it probably just give him like a bigger ego, like, oh, I can get all these girls now that I'm director or something like that. But he seemed like a pimp almost.
I actually think he'd be a really strong candidate because he's got a lot of personal experience with the company. And the fact that he's been with the company so long means that his record on paper is pretty clean. So like the rumors are just rumors until there's evidence backing it up. Unless someone actually comes forward and makes a formal complaint, I don't think they're founded. Because if he was sexually harassing someone, and especially he's been working for the company that long, there's got to be some kind of record of him doing it. You know, like some formal record of him doing it. If there's no formal record, then it's just gossip.
But then, yeah, I mean, like you say that it's gossip. It could, what if, like, they bought him off, or like the person who's like, maybe they reported it, but then he bought off the person that they reported to.
Even if you report it, it still stays in the record. Whether you wouldn't even like buy it off. There's just a
Right.
conspiracy. I'm gonna give them.
Right.
But maybe the company has like some kind of rule against like relationships, and like it doesn't say it has sexual harassment, it just has sexual advances. So like he's just dating on
I
them.
mean, if
So,
you,
like,
It's gossip. There's no concrete evidence.
but if there's no concrete evidence.
It's
I mean,
still be very unprofessional.
So, but the lack of evidence is not evidence in and of itself.
I guess.
But it's
There are
still
too many
unprofessional.
unknowns,
Like,
unknowns,
you don't
and
do
no
that in a
unknowns.
workplace.
But that just says that the company doesn't act on it, which gives it a bad rep. Because it's like, you
That's if
hear
there's
these
something for-
rumors,
that's
but it's
if
like, why don't
something-
you do anything
That's
about
if
it?
there is
See,
something
that's
for
what I'm
there is something for the company to act on. It says that there are rumors. It doesn't say that in his record that there are demerits on it. If he did something, then of course the company has to do something. But if there's nothing on paper saying, hey, this guy did something, well, how are they gonna act? It's gossip until someone comes forward and says they've done something. Then they're 10 years. If he's that much of a creep, he's gotta have someone has to have come up and said something.
What you guys are gonna vote are by simple majority, meaning I'm gonna say who wants to vote for number 1, and then you guys, you guys vote for someone like. Alright, so basically, it's by majority. So I'll go to you. So who do you think is number 1?
Jane.
Alright,
Jane.
alright,
Jane.
alright.
Jane.
Lynn.
Tanya.
Tanya.
Okay. Wow. So it's 3-2-2.